both of us?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I get the poster?
Oh, way though.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
Literally cannot pronounce it anywhere.
okay. People clam up or stand this way. Alright. Hey Tom. Hey man, how are you? Pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah man.
Sweet.
Shouting it out right now.
Sweet.
Thank you very much.
Hang on, I'm trying to get out of the way. Here.
Yeah. I can't. I literally can't, and he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. Yeah, I'm taking photos of him for you.
Screw it, I'm recording this shit.
Yo, he's right there. He's right there.
Nice.
You see him? Oh, yeah, right there, right? Yep.
Say, can we have a poster? Stewie, you want a photo?
Oh, yeah.
Time. Didn't get one.
At least you got a photo.
Seriously, I don't just smell people. It's like, what?
You're talking about your jacket still smelling of Sam Smith.
Yeah, I know. That's because it was really obvious that it smelled like Sam Smith. If it's not obvious, I'm not going to pay attention to it. It's okay, my friend thought I got on a plane with Ed Sheeran. My friend thought I got on a plane with Ed.
She's not very smart.
No. That's not how planes work.
I think the hotel rent car is like, I'm nearly
Bless him. Bless his little soul.
Is it like that?
it's like the inside of my car.
Hey.
Bounced over.
What? I know, right?
Yeah, I don't think we can think a little bit faster. I would have had it.
They've been staying in Brisbane.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to come. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go. Oh, it's Gold Coast. Sort of have it.
That's the first few of the days for here.
I don't know.
You have no idea.
In this film, we wanted to kind of strip it back and wanted to have more fun with it, you know. And Taika had the exact same idea. We were both saying, in Thor, Ragnarok, let's try and have more attitude.
Who just got replaced?
Ragnarok's sort of a new cycle in the life of the world, all the realms of the universe. It's the destruction of the old and the rebirth of the new. And that's really exciting to me.
Surprise! This will be such fun.
The way that I've approached this is to rebuild it in a new way.
You look great, dude. You do, man.
God of Thunder.
Tonally, I think it's just a perfect mix for where the character and story needed to go. You know, different costumes, different weapons, different cast or characters to work off give you a different energy.
Yes! Thor's in a crisis. He never went back to Asgard to claim the throne. He wanted adventure. When we pick him up, he's at the end of this search for himself.
What are the odds we survive this trip?
I'd say the odds are about 1,000,000 to 1.
You know, I want to take people on a ride and inject some comedy into it, an adventure that keeps people laughing along the way, but also has the spectacle and the stuff that gets people excited.
He's a fighter.
Hell is the goddess of death, and I've had incredible fun playing her. Oh, I've missed this.
Hela's the first female villain that we've had in a Marvel film, and Kate has destroyed the idea of your typical villain.
Kneel before your queen.
Loved working with Kate Blanchett. I was so excited to see what she was going to do. Hela has this insane, off-kilter attitude.
You look like a smart boy. How would you like a job? I think the best villains are always those that you kind of love and hate what they do, but you sort of understand it. There's a logic to it.
She wants to come back home and be accepted, and she wants what's hers.
You're in my seat.
I would love for someone else to rule, but it can't be you. You're just the worst.
Some of the happiest times have been beating people up. I've really enjoyed it. It's like, I don't have to speak today. I can just throw axes into someone's gut. So it's been good.
Where are we? You have no idea.
In this film, we wanted to kind of strip it back and wanted to have more fun with it, you know. And Taika had the exact same idea, and we were both saying, in Thor Ragnarok, let's try and have more attitude.
Got replaced.
Ragnarok's sort of a new cycle in the life of the world and all the realms of the universe. It's the destruction of the old and the rebirth of the new. And that's really exciting to me.
Surprise! This will be such fun.
The way that I've approached this is to rebuild it in a new way.
You look great, dude.
You too, man.
You've got a thunder.
Tonally, I think it's just a perfect mix for where the character and story needed to go. You know, different costumes, different weapons, different cast or characters to work off give you a different energy.
Yes! Thor's in a crisis. He never went back to Asgard to claim the throne. He wanted adventure. When we pick him up, he's at the end of this search for himself.
I'd say the odds are about 1,000,000 to 1.
You know, I want to take people on a ride and inject some comedy into it, an adventure that keeps people laughing along the way, but also has the spectacle and the stuff that gets people excited.
He's a fighter. idea.
In this film, we wanted to kind of strip it back and wanted to have more fun with it, you know. And Taika had the exact same idea, and we were both saying, in Thor, Ragnarok, let's try and have more attitude.
Who just got replaced? Ragnarok's sort of a new cycle in the life of the world, all the realms of the universe. It's the destruction of the old and the rebirth of the new. And that's really exciting to me.
Surprise! This will be such fun.
The way that I've approached this is to rebuild it in a new way.
You look great, dude.
You too, man.
God of Thunder.
Tonally, I think it's just a perfect mix for where the character and story needed to go. You know, different costumes, different weapons, different cast or characters to work off give you a different energy.
Yes! Thor's in a crisis. He never went back to Asgard to claim the throne. He wanted adventure. When we pick him up, he's at the end of this search for himself.
What are the odds we survive this trip?
I'd say the odds are about 1,000,000 to 1.
You know, I want to take people on a ride and inject some comedy into it, an adventure that keeps people laughing along the way, but also has the spectacle and the stuff that gets people excited.
He's a fighter.
You spend your miserable life trying to save. The only pathetic creature I see around here is you. What do you want? The wand of Watum, of course. Nebula thought she could control it herself, and now my foolish brother and his friends have sought to capture it. I just need you to tell me where they went. I will never help you. That's the funny thing about mind control. You really don't have much of a choice. There. I knew you'd come around. It looks like I'm heading to Kunlun. The Avengers will stop you. No. You see, I think I will simply take the wand, or with you as my hostage, they shall hand it over freely. Either way, I will soon take my rightful place as ruler of Asgard, and then... And now the after party begins. Loki, aren't you happy to see me, bruh? Time out. How did you know we'd be here? Let us just say it was quite foolish to leave behind your most powerful ally. The scientist.
What have you done with Banner?
Fear not. Once I have the wand of Watum, you will all be reunited deep inside the dungeons of Asgard, while I ascend the throne as Asgard's rightful king before taking Earth as well. Cease this madness, brother. Together, you and I can make Earth and Asgard a just and glorious place for all. Work with me as equals. I am not your equal. I am, and have always been, your superior. Chitauri, destroy them! I call upon the mystic moons of Munapur. Vile traitor! Nice trick, Strange. It is no trick. It is mastery of the mystic arts. Yeah, well, I can do magic too. Check this out. Abracadabra. May Hogarth have mercy.
Hey, ugly! Made you look.
Fall before Mjolnir! Iron Man, behind you! Excellent! Is that all you have for us, brother? Oh, I'm just getting warmed up.
Look! The dragon!
Is what an illusion!
Sure doesn't feel like an illusion.
There must be a scientific explanation for this. I just have no idea what it is. What the? Okay, so there's that. Renaissance fair? Here on Asgard. We must find Nebula, or the entire universe will be destroyed. Bruce! Bust out there and give this guy a good smash. I can't. Loki has blocked my neural pathways, rendering me unaffected by emotional stimuli. Tony, what about your gauntlet? Great idea, Thor. Doctor Strange, cover us with the Sorcerer's Spear! Focus all your energy toward my arc reactor! No! What are you doing? Enough!
What happened?
It didn't work. Surrender now, or watch as I send my brother on a one-way trip to the center of the closest sun. Do not listen to him. I'm sorry, Thor. Right now, you don't have much of a choice. No! Good. Glad to see you have finally come to your senses.
Our friends are still out there.
Yes, my dear little wasp, they certainly are. In fact, they should be arriving in the Antarctic right about now.
Must be interference from...
Gifts for evil.
What a waste!
Silence, you insolent mortals! You have all been outsmarted, especially you, brother. Belittle me all you like. Your sorcery cannot keep me from Mjolnir forever. No, not forever. Just until I get the wand of my tomb. I will never let you possess the wand. I was not asking your permission.
Better wrap up that wand if you want to keep us that way.
Where are we, Captain? be of no help to you today. Now hand me the wand before somebody gets hurt. You want it? Come get it! What's up? As you wish. Okay, not what I had in mind. The wand is mine! Let's grab this magic wand and get the crew town out of here! Good plan, Rocket. Prepare to be destroyed! Did you mortals really think you could stop me? I got it! I got it! Is that a walking tree and a raccoon with a jetpack? They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy. Your face always look like that? Get out my back! Yes! Blaster! Yes! No! Crow attack! The wand of Watu. I can feel its power! At last, no one can stop me from claiming Asgard, Earth, and all the Nine Realms. I am going to enjoy making you suffer. Oh no, he's not going to sing karaoke, is he? You will all bow before King Loki, supreme ruler of Asgard and Earth. You are forgetting one thing, brother! Oh, and what is that? While the others may be bound by your illusions, I have grown to know all your tricks. Now you will know the wrath of Mjolnir! Way to go, Thor! Now get the wand! The force field is too strong! I cannot reach it! Chitauri, prepare for battle! Avengers, assemble! Guardians, come together! Okay, that needs some work. What are you waiting for? Finish them! Prepare to be destroyed by wand of Watum, I banish you to the dungeons of Asgard!
Very supportive, loving casting. We had a nice gym on set, which we all inhabit quite often and get in and motivate each other.
Now, what we see from the movie right now.
You know, have I brought anything different to it? What can I do different? And I remember speaking to Kevin Feige very early on and saying, how can we kind of send this in a different direction and make it unexpected and unique? And so we did everything from sort of change the physicality and the sort of visual haircut, the outfit, the whole thing, and then the tone as well, you know, vocally, the attitude, the comedy, and the visual effects, and even the music is sort of on another level, you know. So I think all of us, you know, we're excited to push it, and in Taika Waititi, the director, in particular, to push it into this direction.
More energetic and crazy on set.
Oh, it's vastly different, you know. I mean, look, I've had such fun playing this character over the years, and but I got to say, you know, this is the 5th time round, and it was like, we've got to do something different. You know, become the voice
that were in, say, Civil War.
Oh, this is the best. This is beyond better than Civil War, please. Those guys might have been, you know, high-fiving each other compared to what we do in this film.
How so? How so?
You'll have to check it out.
Well, no, I mean, I started watching them all because my children wanted to see them, but then I just found them so enticing, and I did think, where are all the chicks? And so I was, when Taika called and said that he wanted to, you know, he was going to do this, and of course I love him as an actor, as a comedian, as a director. That was, I was there already, you know, because it's a completely different audience base, and that's what's so great about Comic-Con is you get to see them all, and they absolutely 100% own this universe in a way that I never can, and so it's great to have that, that responsibility, I guess.
I just spent a few days with my I guess he's my grandnephew, my brother's grandson, and he's 3. And it became very apparent to me that that really I'm playing a 3-year-old as a Hulk, and it's really funny. The syntax is very limited. I want go, you know, Hulk no like, Thor stupid, you hurt Hulk. Yeah, really rudimentary, but so funny and so volatile and so reactionary. And the relationship between Thor and Hulk, the speaking Hulk, is hilarious, but with Taika Waititi guiding us.
Even less. You're really good at that. I'm not. But not so
I've been curtailed. I've got my notes.
But we never know what to believe when you're like.
What do you mean?
You're like everybody dies. I don't think you would just.
Everybody does die eventually. It's a truth. It's a great truth.
They sometimes think
Yeah, well, I've got a vestige of blue, and you don't see me from here down. You know, I could be bluish. I could be blue here and there. My nails are blue. My toenails are blue. Yeah.
So I guess, does the beard match the drapes is the question.
Okay, take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy. Now, in what movie was I blue before? Do you know that movie? Earth Girls Are Easy. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Epic sort of story, isn't it?
together on the left.
I just said.
Guys, get on the left side.
Mademoiselle Blanchette, please. Straight ahead, Daddy.
Take the front. One more time, sweetheart. Looking back.
Can I get like 60 smile?
Straight down the center, please. That smile.
Kate, are you guys?
Kate, that smile, sweetheart. Kate, Kate. Kate, the front. The front. Kate, the front of the outfit, sweetheart.
Mademoiselle Blanchette. Right here.
Right side, sir.
Whoa, whoa, guys! Together, guys, right here. Lucia, Matt, Lucia.
Right here in the middle. Hey guys, double eye contact, double eye contact.
Luciana, to your right, to your right.
To your right.
Top.
Give me a thumbs up. No. Over on your left side, sir. Tom. Max on right, to your right, to your right. And guys together, looking up, looking up.
Right here, guys.
Right here, please. Sunrise. And guys together, looking left.
Sunrise, straight ahead, Mark, straight ahead. And guys, to the right.
What's her name? Miss Thompson! Miss Thompson, please! Right shoulder!
Chest up, chest up. Nice and tight together, nice and tight. Jeff, right here, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, on top!
Jeff, stay with me, Jeff. Jeff, stay with me,
Float out! First gear, first gear! Carl, one more time,
Carl,
sir.
on your right, right here, Carl. Carl.
Look out, looking up, sir. Carl, looking up.
Carl, stop right here, Carl.
And guys together, looking up. All these people. Stylish, stylish. Back to your right, back to your right. Yeah, I know. Hey guys, to your right, to your right. Matt, give us a wave, Matt. Game it, give us a wave.
I play the Grandmaster. Yes, I'm the head of Sakar, and it's colorful. And even though I've lived since shortly after the Big Bang, 14 million years old.
Don't mind me. I think coming into peers.
Okay. 50-50, and is that it, or not? Like this?
Yeah.
The only thing I like to do is to play games, really. And I've gladiatorial. When we meet, I'm in the middle of my gladiatorial games. Young Thor is good. So fear not, I can't be killed, just like my brother Benicio del Toro, the collector. And there it is. And that's in the middle of this whole other story, the Thor.
Two, one, go!
I think the objective from, you know, even years before we'd written the script was to change this film up in some way. You know, I think it all started to feel a little bit familiar and predictable.
When you come along here, not high, but sort of like low,
Yeah.
then you just go.
Damn, okay, cool.
Go!
He agreed and, you know, was incredibly receptive, and then we had Taika come on board who had the same attitude. And so, yeah, it was about changing the aesthetic look, the hair, the hammer, the costume, everything, the world. And so it felt like kind of a clean slate, you know, and starting again and playing a new character in a way, which was hugely freeing and invigorating. I think there's a vulnerability to him, you know, and then accessibility to him that wasn't there prior, you know. I think the first time I played the character was about making him, you know, playing a god. But the problem is with that is that then it's good for one film, but then after that you sort of hit a ceiling and you have nowhere to go. You know, he has the same problems we all have. He has the same insecurities that we all might have, or the same sort of concerns or fears or whatever. And so this film was about kind of stripping that back and, you know, having a greater access to that vulnerability and relatability about, you know, he's one of us. And then so we sort of did away with any exterior sort of confidence, and he was almost on the back foot a lot of the time, which is a lot more fun to play.
My vision originally was just make Thor the coolest character and make him the most entertaining character, otherwise don't call the film Thor. And we wanted, and Chris had already said this to everyone as well, he's like, I want to do something where I'm not doing the same thing, I'm not treading water again and again, I want to change the character up and make him more fun and have an adventure. And so, and Marvel are very responsive to when people want to do that stuff. So I went in and my vision was just that, make it fun and colourful, and look, you know, that poster, it's like, it's got to be like that. It's got to be like the comic books that I grew up with, where it was like splash pages and Kirby art and it's fun and like vibrant and, you know.
What is it? What makes it different from everyone else? You know, no one knew much more about Jack Kirby at the beginning than that he was this fantastic artist, had created all this work. And so we started examining the Jack Kirby work.
To capture the essence of that childhood feeling is about everything being hyper-real. Because of the breadth of design information that we're generating and the amount of storytelling that requires every detail to be analysed and kind of brought into the world that we're creating, we've established another level of the design department, which is my role.
Everyone who's ever seen a Marvel comic knows this world, you know, and so how do we then turn this into a real world that we can shoot? So, so you know, there's a whole lot of things that we use it as an influence for our spaceships, for our weapons, for our costume, for our world. Our world of Sakaar is loosely based and certainly influenced by Jack Kirby's work.
With production designers' help, with Dan and our concept artists, I help translate the director's vision into something that's more practical for the art department to build, and we guide the visual production of the film.
So over here, there's the model we're working up for Sakar. This is the gladiatorial arena, and the size of it in relation to the rest of the town shows you the importance of gladiators in this world. This model just allows us to explain to everybody what Sakar is, the levels that it exists on, the sort of basic size of it. We have concept work that pretty much established the whole of this world. Now we're taking it into modelling, we're taking it into set build.
It's not just about building something, it's actually about the interaction between the script and the physical set. What happens in that set determines how it's built and whether it's going to work properly. Whether there's stunt work on it or action, then we decide we'll go to this material.
Here we are again, my friend.
Yeah, mate, here we are.
Can I tell you something? Of all the videos, the interviews that we have on our channel on YouTube, Backstage Well, cheap plug, our interview between you, myself, and Chris Evans is the most watched, over 1.5 million views.
Hey, mate, you put me and Chris Evans in an interview, and shit goes crazy. We've been pulled back a few times. We've had publicists step in and say, guys, enough, calm down. We just have too much fun.
But, you know, that's the way it should be. You should be having fun.
Why not?
Speaking of having fun, you love this character. I mean, your director just paid you the biggest compliment because I said, tell me a secret about Chris that we don't know, his work ethic, his style. He goes, Chris is Thor. He goes, I don't know if that's a secret. He goes, there's nobody else that can be Thor. That's a huge compliment. So I know that you absolutely love this guy.
love it. Yeah, I do. And I'd sort of played it 5 or 6 times before this film, and really it became a little familiar, you know. And I was like, God, I've got to change this up somehow. I've got to do something different. And you have an obligation, I think, in a franchise to keep mixing it up for fans and for the whole universe. And Taika had the same attitude. He was like, yeah, we got to change this. We got to break the mold and do something different. And every day was a exploration and journey into sort of the unknown, and highly improvised, a lot of fun, too much fun at times. But
it comes across. And I think because you don't want the Marvel films, they're superheroes and comics and all that, but you don't want them to be the same.
No, you got to. I think you got to do something different. And I said it to Kevin Feige a few years ago after we did the second one, and they were talking about the third one. I said, okay, but we've got to change it. I've got to, cut the hair, break the hammer, do all sorts of things, and give me different characters, give us a different universe. Let's get out of the sort of the Shakespearean period vibe that it might have had, and just do something different. Because we did that, and it was great. Right. And now it's time for the next step, and there certainly was that.
So I went back to our interviews from the past. I was telling you about that a second ago. Do you know that I have never asked you how heavy the hammer is?
The hammer, well, there's a few different versions. There's a really heavy one, which is kind of the walk and talk one, and then the stunt version may or may not be made of soft rubber, which isn't as cool.
All right, we're going to play a game. It's called Three Things.
Three Things.
Real simple.
Yep.
Chris Pratt does this. Everybody does it. You're going to love it. You're going to be awesome for this. 3 things that Thor either will take or do in Texas.
3 things. Lend a helping hand. Check out some wonderful music. Sample some great food. Take some great food.
That is perfect. That's what I was
good?
thinking. And I could just see Thor at ACL, like a music festival.
That's right.
Just with a hammer.
What is it? What makes it different from everyone else? No one knew much more about Jack Kirby at the beginning than that he was this fantastic artist, had created all this work. And so we started examining the Jack Kirby work.
To capture the essence of that childhood feeling is about everything being hyper-real. Because of the breadth of design information that we're generating and the amount of storytelling that requires every detail to be analysed and kind of brought into the world that we're creating, we've established another level of the design department, which is my role.
Everyone who's ever seen a Marvel comic knows this world, and so how do we then turn this into a real world that we can shoot? So there's a whole lot of things that we use it as an influence for our spaceships, for our weapons, for our costume, for our world. Our world of Sakaar is loosely based and certainly influenced by Jack Kirby's work.
With production designers' help, with Dan and our concept artists, I help translate the director's vision into something that's more practical for the art department to build, and we guide the visual production of the film.
So over here there's the model we're working up for Sakaar. This is the gladiatorial arena, and the size of it in relation to the rest of the town shows you the importance of gladiators in this world. This model just allows us to explain to everybody what Sakaar is, the levels that it exists on, the sort of basic size of it. We have concept work that pretty much established the whole of this world. Now we're taking it into modelling, we're taking it into set build.
It's not just about building something, it's actually about the interaction between the script and the physical set. What happens in that set determines how it's built and whether it's going to work properly. Whether there's stunt work on it or action, then we decide we'll go to this material because that'll take the stunt side of it. There's a lot of elements there that have to go together and not fall apart. So particularly when you've got large numbers of shooting crew that walk across all this and you know, because they have to work on there as well. So everything has to be worked out structurally.
So right behind me at the moment is the new construction we're doing. We've already shot these streets, we've repainted them, and behind me is the new construction for the main road up to the Grand Master's Palace. We've repainted all of these streets. You can see some of the undercolour, some of the old colour coming through in the slots, in the sort of Jack Kirby design elements. So we sort of keep referring, you know, every time anyone doesn't understand what we're building, I say just refer to Jack Kirby, you know, it's all there. And sure enough, we go in and we use that influence with our, you know, with our wall textures, our colouring, our shapes. It's very comic book, it's very in your face, it's very primary colour.
We wanted to make sure that the city looked like it was made from recycled metal, and then how would that age? So we did a lot of different, research into how different metals age under different atmospheric pressure, and it was interesting. So we did a lot of sampling, a lot of camera testing for colours. In the end, we made everything look very corroded and had this real leaching coming out of all of the bright colours. So it dulled down the colour where we needed it to, and also just helped create the overall look and the atmosphere. What's the surface? What are the actors going to be seeing? What's the director actually going to be shooting? And that's our bit. So our part is still very important, that, you know, if an actor's leaning up against it, or if it's in the shot behind them, it needs to feel very real, and we actually dictate the rest of the look.
Well, the process with the throne, because that set in particular, it was a blue screen set. So basically, what we build is a portion in mind that it's going to be a grander thing, and we will usually get a concept with that grander picture already roughly drawn out or rendered.
The throne room had a few different elements. The main focus was the throne itself, which was all completely sculpted, and then on top of that we came over with gold powder in a clear medium. And then on top of that, we then added more depth with different glazes, some warmer, some cooler, depending on what detail we wanted to pull out. And then finally, in terms of the throne, with the gold, we then buffed it all with gold paste and wax to really highlight the beautiful detail that was in and around the throne. The floor itself was ply that was textured. And then on top of that, we put 4 different base colours, 5 different glazes, and then we aged on top of that to pull the whole thing together and give it a really nice cinematic feel. because it's important to not only go through the process but then see how it's going to look through camera and what they're going to see.
Yeah, the Hulk bed was interesting. It was, I worked a fair bit with Ra on that one. Basically, he wanted it to look like an upside down weasel skull with the bottom jaw sticking up as the headrest and the eye sockets to the ground. Basically, the story Ra and I were sort of coming up with that bed was once one of Hulk's conquests as a gladiator on Sakaar, and he's just made it into a bed.
It sat inside Hulk's bedroom, which was very bright as well. It was a strong red and white. Again, a bold choice, but it was important for that to be the look of Sakaar. It was meant to be very striking, and it certainly was. So, and the Hulk bed itself was a completely sculpted item again. We finished that off with a bit of a bony sort of look, a little bit more realistic. The bed itself was also inlaid with this certain pattern that we had running through the whole of Sakaar, which ran through the interiors and the exteriors of Sakaar. It was a certain pattern that helped tell the story of where you were, along with the colour.
Everyone will go, oh, it's a bit high, you can't get up to it, and a human can't get up to it, but a Hulk can. So you got to always think of those things, you know. It's just a different environment and a way of thinking. It's pretty cool. It's exciting.
Conjuring things out of stories and sort of using the most amazing talent you can find to generate a world which has never been seen before is the kind of challenge that I think best suits my working approach.
It's definitely the versatility. It's definitely the experimentation of it all. The things, I guess, without colour, without you're just looking at a blank surface. So we work alongside with sculpture, and they add texture. We add the colour as well as some texture, and it just gives everything an element of reality and depth.
I guess what gets me excited is actually just the construction or the making of other worlds. You know, it's not everyone can say that they made that world happen.
Because all of a sudden it's gone from everything's been on paper, and then once it comes to us, things are all of a sudden becoming, you know, very real, and that's what the camera's going to see. So it certainly takes it to the next level.
I'm only as good as the crew that I surround myself with, just like anyone. And it's actually really fun to watch people get a kick out of it and to make sure they have fun doing it. And then when you see it on the big screen and you know, it's a passion that it really gives you a sense of a different, I would say, a different aspect of being an artist.
As a child, I was always reading comics, or eventually I was reading books and visualising. So I think, you know, visualising is something that everyone does, and then taking that a step further into actually making the things that you're visualising, you know, starting with models. And so in this case, to design a world, to find a world, the world is very much in the scriptwriter's head. You get a script, you read that, oh yeah. You've got a director who's taken this job on because he's visualising this world, and then using influences to tighten all that up. We start to get a crew, you know, and we start to get concept artists, and their vision takes it into another place, you know, and then we get set designers and their vision brings it into another place. And everyone, you know, we'll end up with sort of 300 or 400 people in our art department, construction department, who'll all bring something to this party. So my job really is sort of finding the initial place we're going and then letting everyone bring something to it that stay on track, you know. But it gets great and big and wacky and wonderful, and everyone gives something, and we end up shooting a film in it, you know.
Loki, I thought the world of you. I thought we were going to fight side by side forever, but at the end of the day, you're you and I'm me. I don't know, maybe there's still good in you, but Let's be honest, our paths diverged a long time ago.
Yeah. It's probably for the best that we never see each other again.
That's what you always wanted. Hey, let's do Get Help.
What?
Get Help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great. It works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
We are not doing Get Help.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help him! Oh, classic.
Still hate it? It's humiliating.
No, not for me, it's not.
Swadika, I'm Aim from Thailand. So the first question goes to Chris. Where were you during the fight between the team captain and team Iron Man? I was waiting for you to come up.
They're all idiots. They're all petty little children.
Oh, that's why.
What a wasted opportunity.
Give me my shield and, you know, give me my Stark Tower back. We don't care for that, do we?
Well, while they were doing that, he was off doing real work.
Yeah.
Trying to save the universe.
Saving
While they were,
fighting amongst
I don't
themselves.
Like you. You didn't sign this contract. Boring.
But you'll be fighting with them, I mean, the next year, right?
If they pay me. If they can convince me. If they apologise first for not inviting me into a civil war.
But maybe they call you, but you don't have a phone or something.
I don't have a phone. They could send a raven.
Okay.
Or a message in a bottle.
Yep, space raven.
Or an electronic letter.
Okay, this question...
Otherwise known as an email.
Thank you. This question goes to you. Is this your first time directing big budget movie?
Yes. Yep.
How do you
Possibly
feel?
the last. Who knows?
No, it's not going to be the last.
I feel very relieved that I finished, because it's always nice when you start something to finish it. It's often I don't like starting any project and then just leaving it. You know, I always like to have some closure, and for me, I'm very proud of this movie because I feel like I've become probably the Orson Welles of 2017. I think I've changed the whole landscape of cinema for this movie forevermore. Eleanor.
I'm forever changed as well.
Because?
Just being a part of the
Taika cinematic universe.
The occurrence.
He's part of the Taika cinematic universe now.
I'm Taika-fied.
Taika-fied, yeah.
So I was gonna ask you about how was it like working with him, because he's such a funny person and added like a new sense of humor.
No, he's awesome. That's why I wanted him to direct the movie. That's why Marvel wanted him to direct the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think what the character needed and this world needed was a greater sense of humor and fun, adventure, and we needed to do away with the old version and just recreate it. And he just had a vision for it that couldn't have been more appealing and spot on. And
but hey, you can't make a great masterpiece, a great painting, without
wrecking
great
paintbrushes.
That's right.
So you're the paintbrushes
now.
now.
The paintbrush.
When he opens his mouth, that's the colour.
The paint comes out.
Who is your friend from work? What was he like?
Tiger's my mate.
Can I be one of your friends
from work? Hulk is my friend from work as well.
Ruffalo's a friend from work.
Ruffalo's a friend from work. Yeah, you know that we had a kid on set visiting us that day, and he suggested that line.
Whoa.
And it's in the movie, and I think it's the best line in the movie.
So the last questions. I know you have been to Thailand before, right? In Samui and Phangan.
Yeah.
What was it like in Thailand? The fan misses you a lot.
Wow, I loved it. It's great. It's very beautiful, very hot. I love Muay Thai, so I saw some fights. I love the food, love the people, very kind.
And have you ever been to Thailand?
Yes, I loved every moment there, you know. Been to good beaches there, and my favourite thing is the food.
Okay.
Kun soy. Kun soy.
So lastly, tell them to come out and see Thor in the cinema.
Oh, they'll be coming.
Yeah. Hey everyone.
Hello everyone in Thailand.
Stop what you're doing, stop watching this. Don't look at us anymore.
Turn this off.
Go out there to the cinema and go and see Thor Ragnarok.
The best one yet. You're going to love it. You'll have to see it 3 times to understand it.
Spoiler alert, he's in it.
So how did it feel to suit up as Loki again?
It was great. Yeah, I hadn't done it for a while. The last time, well, it's about 4 years. So it was kind of amazing to get back in the habit and play the Lokester, yeah.
And what can audiences expect to see from this third go-round with Loki and Thor, the relationship and everything?
Well, it's, every film there's an evolution of the relationship between Thor and Loki, and Taika Waititi, our director, has infused that brotherly feud with so much humor and so much spirit, and it's kind of time to ring the changes, because there's only so long that those two can basically fight and try to one-up each other, and actually the stakes are so high that they need to change things up between them a bit. You'll see.
Tell us about Loki's blades and the training with that.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Loki, when I was first cast as Loki 8 years ago now, we decided that when Loki was in combat, he would have these sort of magical blades that he could make appear at any time. And there's this fight in the first film, but because of his staff, which has become quite crucial in the Marvel Universe, in Avengers, I haven't fought with the blades for a bit, so it was nice in a way to come back to that. And we had amazing stunt coordinator and fight directors and a whole great stunt team we used to train with all the time. Ben, what's Ben's last name? I feel terrible for forgetting Ben's last name, but he was our stunt director. He was great, yeah.
Good old Ben.
Perfect. So Tessa, first go round.
Yeah.
First go round, first time MCU. How was it? Daunting? Easy? Good?
No, I wouldn't say easy. I would say, these films present a world of challenges, but ones that I was really eager to tackle. Just the physicality and learning how to wield a sword and to gain muscle mass, and the challenges of working, on green screen and having to create this whole world, with imagination, all of that stuff. But, it's daunting, and that's why it's fun, I think, at least for me.
What as an actor did you have to wrap yourself around to get that inner warrior spirit for Valkyrie?
Goodness, I think just really working on the physicality and feeling sort of confident and strong when holding a sword, and getting stronger myself, just doing pull-ups. Just feeling, really spending time on stage 3 with the stunt crew, and once you can sort of move through space, doing some of that fight stuff, you begin to kind of be able to inhabit the space of the character. And then, of course, so much of the universe is created for you just with costume and what's happening around you. So it's, you're not doing it on your own.
So playing such a strong female character in the Marvel Universe is always looked at as you're going to be a role model, you're going to be looked up to by little girls. Tell me what that feels like.
Yeah, it feels tremendous, and hopefully not just by little girls, by boys too. I think it's important that boys look at female characters and think it's something that they would like to aspire to be. I think that's really important. And I have the added benefit, I think, of being able to present a character that wasn't necessarily historically represented this way. And so there's a host of young women that look like me, and their mothers write me and say, we're so happy that our little girl gets to see a woman that looks like her on screen. I certainly never thought that I would be in a film like this playing a superhero, and I think some of that has to do with the fact that I didn't grow up watching a superhero that looks like me. So that's a joy.
And now this is both of them, so if we can open it up so we get both of them in the camera. And I apologize, I shouldn't have said just little girls. Everyone should look up. So tell me your favorite. I know it's practical sets and green screen. What was your favorite set to work on during filming?
You want to jump in with that?
I really like the Hulk suite, which you were.
I didn't spend any time in the Hulk suite.
Oh, you were in my apartment though. That was cool.
Was it your apartment? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in the set, in my set apartment.
Valkyrie, Scrapper 142 or Val has an apartment on Sakaar. Loki ends up there in chains. It was pretty rad, that apartment.
Yeah, that apartment
Yeah.
was cool. There was lots of funny little tidbits. She's not the cleanest, person, so there's sorts of relics all over the
Yeah.
place. I think at one point there was a human arm. I don't know if that's still in the movie, but she's just like looking for stuff and
Yeah.
chucks an arm.
The Sicarian stuff was great because that felt Thor and Loki are cast out onto this alien planet called Sakaar, which is presided over by Jeff Goldblum as the Grand Master, and Val is there, and it was really inspired by the illustrations of Jack Kirby, who was such a influential comic book illustrator for Marvel. And it's really out there and out of this world, and so the colours of those sets. There's when Loki and Val fight, there was this sort of in this kind of the hall of slightly strange jigsaw puzzle piece. I don't know what you'd call it really. It was like, but it was a very, very colourful, otherworldly set. Kind of felt like we were in Wonka's Chocolate Factory or something,
Yeah, and then Hulk Suite, where he lives, is sort of this lush, like bachelor pad, but everything's huge, obviously, because it's the Hulk. He has a hot tub and a circular bed and a bar, which of course Val enjoys immensely. But yeah, you as an actor, you're always trying to suspend your own disbelief, and thereby the audiences. So it's always a pleasure to walk onto a set that just is so lived in and is telling a story. It makes your job easier.
A lot of the folks that I've talked to already have talked about how Taika was very encouraging of improvisation. And there's going to be some stuff possibly on the cutting room floor that we see. Is there any insight to some fun stuff that happened on set that's...
I think Taika's whole, I think he's immaculate really at capturing the spontaneity of improvisation, and that's what he loves most about being a filmmaker, is understanding the structure of the story, inspiring his actors to understand it too, but then along the way to play with it, to see what comes up in the moment, because really that's the magic. If you can capture things that characters would say as they think it for the first time, I think it always comes off as fresher than anything that was ever scripted, and that specifically works with his comedy. It's such a fun film. It's so funny. Every character is funny in a way, and so it made the set feel very light, which is lovely.
Everyone's playing the game with everybody. One word answers for Taika. How was it working with Taika?
Hilarious.
Goofy.
Last question is, would you each hope that people walk away from the theater after seeing this film with?
I hope that people have a great time. It is so entertaining, and that's all Taika, and Chris and Tessa. But it's so colourful and feels like it's something that very true to Marvel and also to the characters, and it's epic. It's just a great time. I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah, I think Ragnarok is literally the destruction of the old and the birth of the new. So I hope that people feel like this new world order that we've created in this universe, this zany thing, is exciting and a place they want to stick around for a while.